The United States is on the verge of being attacked, and we are seeing worldwide threats to our homeland. Just look at this.
Significant threats to our cities and our local communities are only growing. Our nation's adversaries have been emboldened to attack our allies and our friends and are undermining our security here at home.
These are statements from Mark Green. He's a Republican from the House Committee on Homeland Security. He is saying that here at home, we are now seeing some of the greatest risks we have seen in decades. Now I want to read you a statement that he made. This was his opening remark in this House hearing committee. Now, I want to read you this because this is very important. He says, and let me show you this as well. He says, 22 years have passed since September 11th. Since then, the nature of the threats we face has evolved, and the security challenges are becoming more dynamic each day. I do not say this lightly. This is one of the most dangerous times in the history of the United States. Now, I'm going to address this. I'm going to talk about what is going on. I'm also going to dive into more of this hearing. You're going to hear Mark Green actually talk and say what he has to say. But first, all I ask is if you enjoy these daily updates, do me a favor. It takes just 2 seconds. Go ahead and hit that like button and let's begin. Now, before I get into the rest of this hearing, I want to read you this right here. Look at this. It says the head of the FBI, Christopher Wray, Homeland Security Department Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, and National Counterterrorism Center Director Christine Abenzaid later testified. There are now multiple investigations into individuals affiliated with Hamas since the terror attack on Israel in October. That was actually October 7th. There are now increased investigations. This is troubling, but the good news is they are at least doing something about it. Also, this is from Alejandro Mayorkas as well. He says, we have responded to an increase in threats against Jewish, Muslim, and Arab American communities and institutions across our country. All of this has happened since October 7th. So the threat to Americans, the threat to our homeland has increased in just over 1 month. Now, let's get right down to this. I want to show you what Mark Green is saying. And again, I will break this down as we go. So let's get started.
Malicious activity by nation-state actors and terrorism poses a direct threat to the United States homeland. Without question, the homeland is less safe under this president.
This is something that we've seen. We've heard this from many people before, that right now the United States is at a higher risk than we have been under former President Donald Trump, under former President Barack Obama, right? This is very, very problematic because, and he goes on to say this, I'm not going to play you that clip because, again, I'm trying to stay more in the middle, but he is absolutely hammering Biden. And he's hammering Biden because of the disastrous withdrawal out of Afghanistan. Okay, and I know a lot of people have talked about that in the past. I'm not going to play that clip, but again, he's pretty much attacking President Biden here. But what he's saying is President Biden made the United States look weak. We look weak because of that withdrawal. And because of that, and after that, we started to see increased attacks on the United States. Increased threats as well. But let's keep playing it.
As each of you recently testified before the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs, foreign terrorist organizations, including those supported by Tehran, have gained a sense of momentum following Hamas's brutal terrorist attack against Israel last month. These terrorist organizations continue to call for attacks against the U.S. at home and abroad.
Right there, that's something that's scary because we're now starting to see an increase in calls to attack us, not just in other countries, but here at home as well.
This includes Al-Qaeda, which, as Director Wray has pointed out, has issued its most specific call to attack the U.S. in the last 5 years. As our adversaries seek to further destabilize the Middle East, we must confront how these threats directly impact our own homeland security. According to DHS, 294 aliens whose name appear on the terrorist watch list were stopped trying to cross our southwest border between ports of entry since FY 2021.
I want to stop that right there. But one of the things that he goes on to talk about is that since 2021, we've had more than 200 people on the terrorist watch list try to enter into the United States. Before that, I believe it was the previous 10 years, there was 11 people. Just 11. So the increase in the amount of people attempting to get into the United States, right? This is what many people are concerned with. And we've heard this before, and I even addressed this here on the channel about 2 weeks ago, where we are seeing hundreds of thousands of getaways, people that get into the United States and they just get past border security. They're just gone, right? They get away from them. This is what we're seeing. So right now, according to the FBI director, according to Homeland Security, according to many different groups, there are more terrorists here in the United States than we've ever had in our history. And that's scary. Let's keep listening.
Anti-Semitism is rising, and threats against communities of faith in the United States are reaching historic levels. Anti-Semitic attacks have risen sharply in the United States since October 7th. Foreign terrorist organizations like ISIS have called on its extremist supporters to target Jewish communities in the United States and Europe. The free world pledged never again nearly 80 years ago. Now it's time we stand firm and united against this evil. We must not let these anti-Semitic attacks and the increasingly hateful rhetoric become a harbinger of something worse to come.
So right there, we're seeing more of this at home, here in the United States. And I talked about this the other day as well, where we were seeing one group, okay, there was a March for Israel in Washington, D.C. And then there was a pro-Palestinian rally in New York City. The one thing that we can't have happen is a pro-Palestinian rally and a March for Israel happen in the same city. Because if those two groups collide, that is what's going to cause a crisis. That's what many people have stated. That's what police all around the country are talking about as well. That it's fine if we have a pro-Palestinian rally, if we have a March for Israel. It's fine if we do those in the same city, but they cannot happen at the same time. That would be devastation. Let's keep listening.
Cyber attacks continue to undermine our homeland security. The cyber threats we face from malicious nation states and cyber criminals are increasingly complex. This summer, the federal government experienced multiple incidences, including right before the Secretary of Commerce's visit to China. Our critical infrastructure is also under attack. This year's annual threat assessment of the United States intelligence community highlighted the threat that adversarial cyber actors pose to our critical infrastructure owners and operators.
Now, in a minute, he's going to go on, he's going to talk about the CCP, okay, the Chinese Communist Party. And he's going to address them. He's going to talk about what they're doing, cyber attacks, having Chinese military-age men. This is what is concerning. Chinese military-age men are coming into the United States to live here. Now, I don't want to say that, we shouldn't let these people in. But what we are now hearing is, how is China allowing this? Because China doesn't just let their people go, right? They want them to stay in China. How is China, or why is China allowing these military-age men to leave China to be here in the United States? That's what some people are questioning. Now, I don't know what's going on here, okay? We're going to find out. Only time will tell. But what I can tell you is we are now starting to see more and more talks and discussions and hearings surrounding Homeland Security, because some question whether Homeland Security and Alejandro Mayorkas has even been doing their job correctly. So, I just wanted to fill you in on what was said during this committee event. But the troubling news is the FBI director, Homeland Security, many different groups, many experts, many people across the world continue to say that the United States is at the highest risk we have been in decades. That's troubling. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But that is what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.